NFL fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the J All Day NFL Show. Today, it's Sunday, so we're talking Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to do another mock draft for you guys. I like to do one every Sunday as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft. It's official. Mekhi Becton is gone. He's going to the Chargers on a 2-year, $20 million deal. So offensive line could be a spot we target early in this draft, guys. I'm very excited for the draft for the Philadelphia Eagles. We're continuing to accumulate tons of picks over the next 2 years. I'm excited to see what Howie Roseman and his crew do in this draft. Do we move up? We have some potential trade scenarios in this draft, so make sure you stick around for that. Let's get into a full 7-round mock draft for your Philadelphia Eagles. All right, all my Philadelphia Eagles fans, do me a huge favor, hit that like button. It really helps this video get into the algorithm. And if you want more Eagles content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. All right, in the first round, the Eagles are up 32 overall because guess what? We're Super Bowl champs, baby. Let's go. 32 overall. There's some interesting names on the board here at 32. Matthew Golden, I really like. But do the Eagles go wide receiver this early with all those other needs? I don't see that happening. Another guy like Gray Zabel. He's like the Swiss Army knife. I know I say that all the time of offensive linemen, but he really is. He can play tackle, guard, or center. He's an impressive guy. If the Eagles went this route in the first round, I would not be surprised at all whatsoever because he's a great pass blocker, right? Good run blocker as well. He's got good size, 6'6", 305. He could play anywhere. Demetrius Knight is a guy Eagles fans have been talking about, but he's 25 years old, and with that fifth-year option that you get for a first-round pick, he'll be 30 by the time that contract is over, so I don't think Howie Roseman goes in that direction. Josh Connolly Jr., the tackle, very interesting, could be a Lane Johnson replacement because this is probably his last year. Maybe he plays 2 more years. If the Eagles win a Super Bowl this year, he'll come back for a three-peat. I'm pretty sure about that. But as I'm looking, Trey Amos, I like Landon Jackson, but the guy I'm circling right now at this spot is Nick Emanwari, the safety from South Carolina. Right, C.J. Gardner-Johnson got traded to the Houston Texans, so there's a glaring opening. I'm not a big Sidney Brown believer. I think Sidney Brown's too small. Nick Emanwari is a monster, 6'3", 227. I just think he could be so versatile in this Vic Fangio defense. Mel Kiper and a lot of those pundits on ESPN think he's a top 20 guy. And falling to the Eagles at 32 makes a ton of sense. He's only 21, 6'3", 227. Here are the trends. Dolphins, Bears, and Colts. That's all picking before the Eagles, right? And we look at the analysis. He's got great size and length. Effective playing in the box and the slot near the line of scrimmage. He can come up and stop the run. Makes good use of range paired with his great ball skills. He flashes makeup speed to undercut crossing routes. I just think he's a great fit at safety. No player is perfect. He does have some limitations. He needs to work on his hips with that lateral movement a little bit. Doesn't have great short area quickness, but for a safety, not a big concern for me. He does overrun pursuit angles a little bit, so they're going to have to coach him up a little bit. But I think at being only 21 years of age, he's an excellent pick for the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round. I'm going Nick Emanwari at 32 overall. All right, Eagles fans, there's a trade alert, trade alert, trade alert. We're moving up in the second round. Here's the deal. We're swapping 64 and 53. We're moving up in the second round. We're also swapping 121 and 96. The Eagles are moving back a little bit. And then we're also throwing in a late 2027 6th round pick. I like this. Moving up, 11 spots in the second round to get a really, really talented player. Let's talk about it. All right, Bird Gang, I'm really excited about this pick. That's why I moved up and traded with the Buccaneers. We're getting Alfred Collins from Texas. 87 overall grade this year. He's an absolute monster. Great against the run. 85 overall grade. 6'5", 320 pounds. The dude, he's long. He's strong. He could play anywhere on the D-line. I just think he's going to be a great Milton Williams replacement. And trading up for an exceptional player like this makes total sense to me. Alfred Collins goes to the Philadelphia Eagles at 53 overall. Okay, now let's take a look at the Eagles picks. We've got 2 4s and then 4 fifth-round picks, guys. So let's figure out where we're going to go at 121 overall. A guy I really, really like that's still on the board. I do like Willie Lampkin from North Carolina. I think he's a really talented guy as well. Maybe he's there for us. Ahmad Hossein, he's a very talented, athletic guy as well. There's some really good offensive linemen, but a guy who I don't think is going to be there is Kobe Bryant. He is an exceptional cornerback prospect. 6'1", 175, a little bit more on the leaner side, but with Darius Slay getting shipped out of town, no James Bradbury as well. I think the Philadelphia Eagles need to concentrate on a cornerback early in this draft. Isaiah Rodgers, he's also gone. He's going to Minnesota. So Kobe Bryant, 121 overall. Now, 134 overall. Our guy is still there. I'm very happy about this. Willie Lampkin, the guard from North Carolina. So the Eagles traded for Kenyon Green in the C.J. Gardner-Johnson deal. Former first-round pick, 15th overall. So that's their project, right? But if projects don't work out, bringing in a young guy who is just as good as a run blocker as he is a pass blocker. I think he's an exceptional talent, 5'11", 290. Definitely needs to put on a little bit of size, in my opinion, to be a guard on this team because they do like bigger guards. But I think he is a really, really talented guy. But I do want to look at the tight end position for the Philadelphia Eagles, see who's on the board here. Mitchell Evans from Notre Dame, he's on the board. Urasek from Georgia's on the board. I'm not in love with this tight end class early in the middle rounds, right? These guys aren't doing it for me. And as of now, Dallas Goedert is still on the roster, so I don't know if this is a spot I'm willing to go at this point in the draft. Willie Lampkin definitely makes a lot of sense for me. Edge guys are still available. Guys like Tyler Batty from BYU. He's a very talented guy. So far in the draft, we went safety, D-line, cornerback. So where do we go from here? Savion Jones from LSU, a pretty smooth guy on the edge. I do like him as well. But as I'm looking through who's left on the board at this point in the draft, Luke Kandra, he's still on the board. Definitely more of an Eagles type of size, 6'4", 323 with really good athleticism, right? So that might be the pick, actually, in this spot. Pat Bryant, the wide receiver from Illinois, he's a really talented guy as well. So as I'm looking and seeing who's available, where we could possibly go, Kobe King. He is another guy that I really like. Will he be there for us? I'm hoping that he is, because adding a guy like Kobe King can make a ton of sense. The Eagles need a linebacker. You know what? I'm going to go Kobe King here because I can't count on him being there at 161 overall, and we need that true off-ball linebacker, and Kobe King's one of the best in the business here. I like Kobe King. I'm going to probably reach on him a little bit, hoping I can get one of those offensive linemen at pick 161 overall. So that's my strategy. Okay, here we are in the 5th round, 161 overall. Okay, Nick Nash, I always liked him. Connor Colby from Iowa, pretty solid guy. 6'6", 310, he's got the size. Tyler Cooper is on the board as well. Cody Simon, Kyle Monangai, Logan Brown, the tackle. I might have to go 6'6", 315. Logan Brown. I definitely want to go offensive line here. Offensive line and edge are definitely spots I'm circling right now. The reason I didn't go early on edge because I think Jalen Hunt is going to be the guy. I don't think it's completely necessary to use one of these early draft picks on edge with Jalen Hunt still on the roster. I think he's going to be the guy for the foreseeable future, right? So I want to look at offensive tackles. I want to look at interior offensive linemen. I do want to look at edge just to see what's going on there. So here are the best players left on the board. I do like Connor Colby, but Logan Brown just makes too much sense because Logan Brown can definitely play guard at the NFL level. He played a little left tackle, played one snap at right guard, but he's played right tackle for most of his career. Doesn't have a lot of experience, and I just think in the 5th round, he could be a potential steal and maybe eventually be a Lane Johnson replacement. That's why you draft a guy like Logan Brown here in the 5th round. All right, now, Eagles fans, are up at 164. Bringenstall from the Tigers. I don't love that. Jackson Hawes is still. There are some guys, this is one guy I'm looking at tight end wise. Priest Corn, he's a pretty talented guy. 401 yards, only one drop. I do like Priest Corn. He's an interesting player. At 190 overall, I don't know if I want to go for him that early. And Orlandi Gadsden from Syracuse, another guy later in the draft I'm considering at the tight end spot. So now, when you're drafting in the 5th round, you want to find guys that have the potential to maybe steal a starting spot, but just be overall good football players. John Joyner from Minnesota. I like him. 6'5", 265. He's got good length. He could definitely be someone on the edge for us. Philadelphia. Ingram Dawkins from Georgia, another guy. 6'5", 280. They love the Georgia Bulldogs in Philadelphia. That Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech, a wide receiver. That is an interesting. Tim Smith is another guy I really like. Jack Nelson I also really like. So let's figure out what we're going to do at 164. Drafting in the 5th round can be challenging, guys, because all the super really talented guys are gone already, right? But we've got to kind of figure it out and bring in good players for this Eagles football team. Connor Colby, Cody Simon, Monangai. I think the Eagles are pretty set with the A.J. Dillon signing at running back. I don't think they go there. Longer beams on the board. I think edge here is probably a spot I want to target, right? So John Joyner, Ingram, Diggs. Let's see if we can find some value, right? Johnny Walker from Missouri. This guy from Mizzou, another really talented player, 10 sacks this year, 6'3", 255. Definitely has that outside linebacker frame, in my opinion. And he was very productive at a really good school, right? He played the biggest programs there are, right? Senior, 6'3", 255. Walker definitely interests me. Here's an interesting guy, Elijah Alston from Miami. Got banged up a little bit this year, but in the bowl game, he really showed up coming off of that injury and really balled out. Really good in 2023. This is a great guy that you take a flyer on. I'm going Elijah Alston in the 5th round, 164 overall. All right, Eagles fans, now we're up at 165, the very next selection. We got our pick of the litter here, guys. I always like bringing in good quality cornerbacks from big programs, right? If you look at a guy in this spot like Denzel Burke, I know we took a cornerback earlier in this draft, but 672 overall coverage grade, great against the run. Not the best man coverage guy, so I don't know if I love that. Bringing in another linebacker, we're pretty thin. Tonka Hemingway, the D lineman from South Carolina, that makes some sense too. Pass rush win rate over 10%. I like that. 6'3", 288. Probably a little small for this particular program, but Tim Smith, this guy is a beast mode. 6'4", 314. I think I might go. I might have to do it. Jack Nelson, another guy that's great value this late in the draft. So I do want to bring in a tight end at some point, but the tight ends, I just don't see the value in the tight ends, guys. So I'm not going to force a pick, because forcing picks is kind of going to get you in trouble, right? So far we went safety, D-line, corner, linebacker, tackle, edge. Let's bring in another wide receiver. I think bringing in a young wide receiver, a guy like Nick Nash makes some sense. 6'3", 195, got true X possibility. I like Nick Nash's tape. And now in the 5th round, 168 overall. Pretty much all the same guys are on the board, right? John Joyner, the edge defender. I like John Joyner, 6'5", 265. Let's bring in that edge, another edge possibility in the 5th round, guy who can play special teams as well. Okay, guys, here it is. Nick Emanwari, C+ overall grade. PFF doesn't have him as high as a lot of other pundits do, like myself and the guys from ESPN. We traded up for Alfred Collins. He is a monster on the D-line. I love that pick. Kobe Bryant, A grade. These grades you got to take with a grain of salt, because these PFF grades, they're pretty stupid actually. And like Kobe King, a D, when we have one healthy off-ball linebacker, probably the second best off-ball linebacker, probably the third best. Jahad Campbell's number one, Jack Kaiser, and then Kobe King. He's a great player. And then Logan Brown, that's a steal in the 5th round. And they love the Nick Nash pick and the John Joyner pick later in the draft. They didn't like the Elijah Alston pick, but I think he's a a guy that is moldable, right? He's got a lot of raw tools that could be exceptional at the NFL level. That's why I like Elijah Alston from Miami. All right, they gave us a B minus overall grade. Let me know in the comments below. Do you like this draft? I did something a little bit different. I went trench heavy, and I kind of filled some positions of need, right? Safety, we definitely need a safety. We need to address D-line, cornerback, all the positions that we lost. I kind of tried to add to them a little bit and brought in some youth at edge and wide receiver because you never know how these edge guys are going to kind of play out, these outside linebackers. We got Nolan Smith, but he's dealt with injuries over his career, so I wanted to add some depth to this room. All right, Eagles fans, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.